All right, in today's class we will be discussing your thermal expansion. So what is this thermal expansion? I will tell you. Now to understand that, first you need to understand the energy diagram. So what is your energy diagram is, okay, in many books you will be seeing some sort of diagram like this, okay. So what is this diagram? I will tell you. Now normally if you take, okay, a solid, liquid or gas, okay, matter will exist in three states usually, that is solid, liquid and gas. Now if you take the solid, okay, if you take the solid, usually the molecules of solid will be at equilibrium distance. So that means from here to here the equilibrium distance is R0, okay. So usually the solid molecules will be at equilibrium distance. Now once the solid molecules are at equilibrium distance, okay, what happens is when you start giving out heat energy, okay, when you start giving out heat energy or when you start extracting heat energy, this equilibrium position will get disturbed because every system will try to acquire, okay, minimum potential energy, okay, every system tries to acquire minimum potential energy, so indirectly stability, okay. So this is your stable equilibrium distance at that particular temperature. Now what happens is when you heat an object, okay, what happens is indirectly these molecules will start gaining kinetic energy, okay, that will be in the form of either translational kinetic energy, vibrational kinetic energy or rotational kinetic energy, okay. So when these molecules start absorbing the energies, what actually happens here is this equilibrium distance will get disturbed, okay. So when this temperature T dash is greater than T, okay, to attain stability, what happens is these molecules will separate to new equilibrium distance which is greater than R0. So because of this you will actually get your expansion, okay. Now when this final temperature T dash it is less than T, what happens is you will have your contraction, okay. So you will have contraction like this, okay. So your equilibrium distance some R double dash will be reduced and you will have contraction, okay. So now from this statement, okay, this is indirectly this equilibrium distance is kind of bond length only if you are talking in terms of chemistry, but here my point is every system will try to acquire minimum potential energy, okay. So once minimum potential energy is acquired, that system will automatically try to what it will do is it will try to take the new equilibrium position suiting to that particular temperature, okay. So ultimately stability is the criteria, okay. So from this much story, ultimate conclusion is your objects will expand, okay. Moral of this story is, okay, objects expand on heating, okay. I will not write every object, most objects, okay, exceptions like rubber and all are there. So their state will actually change. Plastic, if you take for example, if you heat, that will get converted into liquid indirectly. So such kind of different state is not what I am talking, okay. So I am talking of heating, expansion in terms of heating, okay, for most of the objects, okay, and objects, okay, compress on cooling or what is the opposite of expansion that you take? Okay, so yeah, contraction, correct. At the correct time you will not get it. So objects, most objects, okay, I will not say every object, most objects contract on cooling. Okay, so hope you have understood why objects will expand or cool down. Okay, so they will expand because of increased energy, so increasing their bond length will try to compensate the new equilibrium position, and in cooling, because of the contraction, your new equilibrium position will be compensated by contraction. Okay, so this is your basic idea about thermal expansion. So why objects expand and why objects will contract means this is the logic. Okay, so now if you talk of expansion, okay, so that expansion will be differently for different objects. Okay, so that expansion, if I try to divide that expansion, your thermal expansion for different objects, okay, your thermal expansion for different objects, okay, is basically divided into three categories. Okay, one is linear expansion, where in which, okay, you are going to use this linear expansion, okay, for objects which have, okay, linear expansion is used for objects whose length is significant. Okay, for objects whose length is significant, okay, for objects whose length is significant, okay, so we are going to use linear expansion. Okay, next we are going to use aerial expansion. Okay, we are going to use aerial expansion for objects whose, okay, area is significant. Okay, area is significant. Indirectly I am talking of, okay, for example, a thin thread if you take, okay, thin thread if you take, objects which are with help of thin thread, okay, thin thread you can form a rod like this, thin rod like this, or you can form an arc like this, like this. For thin objects you will have linear expansion. You will have aerial expansion for objects whose area is significant. Okay, here you can say objects which are formed with help of sheet of paper. Okay, you can form these kind of objects with help of sheet of paper. Okay, sheet of paper in the sense some thin sheet of paper like this. You can form a disc like this, you can form a rectangular plate like this. Okay, and you can define whatever. If you are considering the area significance, aerial significance, you can call it as aerial expansion, or it is also called as superficial expansion. Okay, superficial expansion is also the same meaning. Okay, it gives the same meaning. Okay, next, volume expansion or cubical expansion is the next idea. Okay, volume expansion or cubical expansion. Okay, so this is your next idea. Okay, so here you will have objects like this, a solid sphere, okay, then followed by solid cube like this, and then, okay, liquids will usually undergo, okay, cubical expansion or volume expansion. Okay, because liquids and gases, okay, they don't have any specific shape. Whatever container you put the gas, that gas takes the shape of the container. Okay, so for gases and liquids we will go for volume expansion. For objects whose length is significant we will go for linear expansion. For objects whose area is significant we will go for superficial or aerial expansion. Okay, so now in this, okay, what is that we are going to ultimately study is, I give some temperature. Okay, initially that object will have certain length, okay, and you have heated it. Now when you heat this object, what is going to be your final length? That is your target. Okay, hope you are understanding. Okay, initially a body is at certain temperature, you have heated it or you have cooled it. Okay, then how dimensions are going to change, okay, is what we are going to study in this thermal expansion part. Thermometry will study measurement of temperature. In thermal expansion, you either heat the body or you will cool the body. Okay, basically you are creating temperature difference. Once you create this particular temperature difference, what are the new dimensions? Ultimately you are supposed to calculate length, area or volumes. Only such kind of things you will be calculating. Okay, but because of effect of temperature. Okay, now in this chapter we will not worry about how the temperature difference is achieved. Okay, do not worry about how I am bringing the temperature difference. Worry only about how much temperature difference I am bringing or I need to bring a particular change in length. Okay, worry about the dimensions, do not worry about the lengths, how you are getting the energy. Okay, do not worry about the source of energy. Okay, so now for this linear expansion, okay, experimentally, okay, I am saying clearly, experimentally, okay, experimentally it was found that if you have taken some object of length L like this, okay, then it was found that your length, okay, change in length upon heating. Okay, if you are heating, it is expansion, if you are cooling, it is contraction. Okay, change in length is directly proportional to length. Okay, when material comma temperature difference, okay, I will write delta theta is equal to constant. Okay, what is this? Experimental observation, and this delta L was also proportional to temperature difference when material and, okay, when material and initial length are kept constant. Okay, it was observed experimentally. Okay, so from these two proportionalities, what is the conclusion that I can make is your change in length delta L is, okay, L times alpha into delta theta. Okay, so this is your change. Okay, this is your initial length and this is your coefficient of linear expansion. I will talk about it next, but for now it is your alpha is what? Coefficient of linear expansion, temperature coefficient of linear expansion, and it is usually in the order of 10 power minus 6. This delta theta is your temperature difference. Okay, so delta theta is temperature difference, alpha is coefficient of linear expansion, L is initial length, delta L is change in length. Okay, next coming to areal expansion part. Okay, here also your delta A is proportional to initial area and your change in area is directly proportional to temperature difference, provided that same conditions are met. So once again that will give you delta A is equal to A times beta into delta theta. Okay, so this is change in area, this is initial area, beta is temperature coefficient of, okay, temperature coefficient of areal expansion. Okay, and delta theta is once again in this formula it is also temperature difference. A initial is initial area. Okay, and coming to this volume part. Okay, so once again delta V is directly proportional to V initial, delta V is directly proportional to temperature difference. Your delta V is equal to V initial into, this is represented by gamma. Gamma is temperature coefficient of volume expansion or cubical expansion, volume expansion or cubical expansion, like this. Okay, like this an object will have, okay, three types depending upon how dimensions are changing. Okay, depending upon the type of dimensional change, you are going to calculate that particular dimension. Okay, if you are looking in terms of volume, you will go for cubical expansion. If you are looking in terms of area, you will go for areal expansion or superficial expansion. If you are going in terms of linear expansion, I mean in terms of length or some linear dimension, radius, such kind of stuff, you are going to have linear expansion. Okay, so like this any object, depending upon what you are trying to measure, okay, your object will have these kind of dimensions and these type of expansions. Okay, Now I'll want you to focus on this alpha part. Okay, so I'll start explaining that alpha in detail. Okay, so now your alpha is, okay, positive. Alpha, beta, gamma all are positive for most of the bodies. Okay, if they are positive, obviously your change in length is positive, that means your final length is more. Okay, so now here your alpha, here I will talk about your beta, and here I will talk about your gamma. Okay, so now observe carefully. Okay, so I have written an expression, that is, here I have written delta L is equal to L initial into alpha into delta theta. Okay, now I did not talk of alpha yet. Okay, I have just simply told that what is your alpha means alpha is your temperature coefficient of linear expansion. Now look at this alpha. Okay, if you look at this alpha, okay, I can define this alpha in two ways. Okay, first alpha unit if I take, okay, unit of alpha if I take, okay, it is this side change in length will have meters, initial length also will have meters, and temperature difference will have degree centigrade or Kelvin. Okay, difference you will either give it in terms of degree centigrade or Kelvin. So this side meter, here you have meters, alpha, it is degree centigrade or Kelvin. So this meter will go off. Your unit of alpha is what? Per degree centigrade or per degree Kelvin. You will not write degree, per Kelvin. That's all. Okay. Whether temperature difference is same in both Celsius scale and Kelvin scale. So whether you take this or this, it's not going to change at all. Okay. Right. Next, coming to this areal expansion. Okay. Your delta A is A initial into beta into delta theta. Okay, so here also what is your beta means? Okay, if you are looking at unit of beta, your unit of beta, it's not going to change because area unit meter square, initial area is meter square beta, and then your delta theta is degree centigrade or Kelvin. So per, if you send it to other side, this term will go off. Unit is once again per degree centigrade or Kelvin. So here also for your volume expansion, delta V is equal to V initial into gamma into delta theta. Okay, so this will become per degree centigrade or per Kelvin, because meter cube will anyhow cancel off. Gamma per degree centigrade or Kelvin you will have, so these terms will cancel off. So unit is that, okay, per degree centigrade or per Kelvin. Okay, now you give me in this chapter any question, ultimately I am going to use only three relations. Okay, so what is this thermal expansion chapter means? Ultimately you should be able to apply these three equations to physics situations. Okay, so this is only the physics part, rest all is just mathematical calculation for different scenarios. For this scenario, how we are applying, for example, if you are taking linear expansion case, for example, if you are taking railway tracks, why you are leaving gap in between the rail tracks means, okay, in summer they will expand. So because of expansion, what happens is, if you have a stiff rod like this, what happens is, if you don't leave gaps, if you have a fixed rod like this, okay, because of increase in temperature it will bend like this. So obviously train wheels, they will have a fixed value. So obviously for the accidents to not to happen, this bending effect is not allowed. So to not to have this bending effect, they leave some gap here. So this gap will be compensated by the expansion like this. Okay, and even electric wires, poles, if you take, okay, they will be suspending like this. Okay, initially they will be like this, eventually they will get bent like this. In winter, okay, they will keep it somewhere here, so that expansion is allowed as well as contraction is allowed. Both are supposed to be allowed even for these electrical wires. Okay, usually you take anything, both expansion and contraction both will be there. In summer there is expansion, in winter there is contraction. Okay, so like this there are a lot of applications. Okay, we will discuss each in detail, what are the most important scenarios, but basically this is what you are going to do for linear expansion. For area expansion, this is what you are going to do, and your volume expansion, this is what you are going to do. Okay, now important part. Okay, now I'll divide this into two parts. I told you, if you are defining alpha, any quantity you will define. If you have watched my differentiation video, any quantity that you define will have two things. One is average quantity and other is instantaneous quantity. Okay, so now I will define alpha average here. Okay, and I will define alpha instantaneous here. Okay, alpha average and alpha instantaneous. Here I will define beta average and okay, and I will define beta instantaneous. Okay, and here I will define gamma average and gamma instantaneous. Okay, so when to use which value I will tell you. Okay, do not worry, but remember for now that your coefficient of expansion also depends on your temperature. Okay, if you change this temperature, this alpha is not constant. Okay, I will write that. Okay, usually alpha, beta, gamma, they are in the order of 10 power minus 6. Okay, but it gets affected. Okay, they will get affected by temperature as well. Okay, so normally from around 10 to 20 degrees centigrade, that alpha change is not significant. Okay, it is very small, so that is why we assume it to be constant. Okay, so unless and until you are mentioned specifically in the question, I mean they have given you that if alpha is changing with respect to temperature like this, we will not go for variable alpha. We will assume constant alpha, constant beta, constant gamma, particularly unless and until if it is mentioned in the question that temperature variation is given like this. If something is given like that, then okay, else no. Okay, so hope you are getting my point. Okay, so now your alpha instantaneous, if you are taking, okay, your average value is alpha average is change in length by okay original length into change in temperature. Okay, here your alpha average is defined like this. Your alpha instantaneous is small change in length by initial length times small change in temperature d theta. Okay, it is d, it is delta. Delta means final minus initial. Okay, your delta means it is final minus initial. Okay, it is small. Okay, it is small change in length. Okay, to know the difference, watch in my playlist. I have this average and instantaneous difference explained very clearly in that differentiation introduction video. Watch that. Okay, next, here in beta average also it is final minus initial. Here your beta average is, what is this going to become, means delta A by initial area into delta theta, whatever temperature difference you are bringing, by next beta instantaneous is okay, beta instantaneous is dA by okay A initial into d theta. Okay, right. Next, gamma average is okay change in volume by initial volume into delta theta, and gamma instantaneous is dV by V initial into d theta. Okay, so now what to do with what I will tell you. Okay, this instantaneous values you have to use when it is function of temperature. Okay, this also you are supposed to use when it is function of temperature. This also you are supposed to use when it is function of temperature. Okay, so when there is variable thing as a function of temperature, you have to use integration to get the final volume. How I will tell you, do not worry, but for now this is how we are defining. So this I have explained previously, and now I am just improvising the previous idea that I have explained. That's all. I am not going to do anything new here. Now here if you look at this, okay, I can write when alpha is constant, okay, this alpha average when it is constant, okay, beta average when it is constant, gamma average when it is constant. That means it's not varying with respect to temperature. You can use these expressions or definitions for alpha. When they are varying with the temperature, you have to use these instantaneous values, okay. So many books, they will just simply give you only the average values. They will not talk about the instantaneous definitions, but I am talking so that you will not get confused while solving the problems. Now looking at this, okay, if I divide this, okay, further, okay, here and here also I will divide further and write the final definitions. Here it is the important point, observe carefully. Delta L is L initial into alpha into delta theta, no. This can be written as L final minus L initial is L initial into alpha into delta theta. From here your L final is L initial times 1 plus alpha into delta theta. Okay, this is your final value. Okay, what is your final length means initial length times 1 plus alpha is coefficient of linear expansion into delta theta. Okay, now coming to this part, okay, I need to integrate here, observe carefully. dl is L initial into alpha into d theta. Now here I told you, you have to use this instantaneous definition when it is function of temperature. So integral of dl is equal to integral of L initial times your alpha as function of temperature into d theta from some temperature theta 1 to theta 2 from some initial length to final length like this. You have to integrate it. Okay, I have done, what is that I have done? I have taken the definition, I have sent the remaining two terms to other side. Okay, and then what is that I am doing is I am integrating it. So integral of dl is from initial length to final length, from initial temperature some theta 1 to theta 2 like that. Okay, now observe carefully, what is integral of dl? It is L. So you are going to get L final minus L initial is, okay, integral of L initial, you can take it like this, L initial is constant, you can take it out of the integral, alpha as function of temperature into d theta from some theta 1 to theta 2. So very important part, your final length is L initial times 1 plus integral of alpha as a function of temperature into from some theta 1 to theta 2. Okay, this is your final length formula when you have as a function of temperature. Okay, let me check whether it is visible in the camera or not. Yes, it is. Okay, similarly, okay, following the same logic for beta, okay, what is that you are going to get? Your final area is initial area times 1 plus beta into delta theta. If nothing is mentioned, consider average value, and if instantaneous value is asked, okay, if beta as a function of temperature is given, in case of superficial expansion or areal expansion, your A final is A initial times 1 plus integral of beta as a function of temperature into d theta from some temperature theta 1 to theta 2. Here theta is temperature and delta theta is temperature difference. Okay, similarly for this, okay, your final volume is initial volume times 1 plus gamma into delta theta. Okay, and then, okay, what happens here is your final value when it is as a function, variable function, it is initial value times 1 plus integral of gamma as a function of temperature into d theta from some theta 1 to theta 2 like this. Okay, so like this we are going to define your temperature coefficients of linear, aerial or superficial and volume expansions like this. Okay, now I have told you what is the expansion and how you are supposed to, okay, calculate it. Okay, now based on this I will try to do a question, but before that I need to explain what is the relation between alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, so next heading is relation between alpha, beta, gamma. Okay. So now to understand the relation between alpha, beta, gamma, what is that I am supposed to do here is, okay, first I want you to understand that your substances, okay, they are basically divided into two forms. Okay, one is isotropic solid, okay, or isotropic substances, and second type of substances are anisotropic substances. Okay, so your substances are divided into two types, isotropic and anisotropic substances. What is the difference between isotropic and anisotropic substances means, okay, if you take for example, okay, for clarity's sake I will take a cuboid. Okay, now let me define the xyz axis here. Okay, so now for this part, okay, let us say this is length L, this is breadth B, this is height H. Okay, now there is some kind of three-dimensional solid, and if you are looking at this, okay, if expansion along x direction is alpha x, okay, if coefficient of linear expansion along x direction is alpha x, coefficient of linear expansion along y direction is, sorry, this is alpha z and this is some alpha y like this. Okay, now if it is isotropic solid, okay, getting my point, if it is isotropic solid, what happens is, okay, this alpha x, alpha y, alpha z all are equal. Okay, that means your expansion in all the directions, okay, expansion in all the directions is same. Okay, your expansion in all the directions for isotropic solid is same. Okay, so that is your isotropic solid. Okay, for isotropic solid your expansion is same in all the possible directions. Now coming to anisotropic solid, okay, your alpha x is not equal to alpha y is not equal to alpha z. Okay, so here expansion is different in different directions. Okay, so I mean your coefficient of linear expansion is different in different directions. Okay, so here I want you to understand, okay, because what is this indirectly, I mean if you are talking of alpha, you are writing delta L by L into delta theta. So what is alpha means what? If delta theta is 1 degree centigrade, okay, change, this is change by initial. So indirectly your change in length per unit length for every 1 degree centigrade is, okay, alpha, and that is different in different directions, then your solid is anisotropic solid. If it is same, it is isotropic solid. Okay, so for isotropic solids it will be different, for anisotropic solids it will be different. Okay, so we need to use this ideas and then we are supposed to actually calculate your different beta gamma values based on the situation and figure. Okay, so now for clarity sake, okay, what I will do is I will take a cube. Okay, that cube, what I will do is, let us say it is having different dimensions, your alpha x is different, alpha y is different and alpha z is different, it is an anisotropic solid. For that cube I will try to calculate beta and I will try to calculate alpha. Okay, hope you are getting my point. So let me erase this. Okay, my first question is, okay, so please don't say that these things are not taught in our college. Do not say that, because whatever is in the subject I am teaching, don't get terrified by this something new comes up. Okay, so I am giving information, you just take it. Okay, that's the point. Okay, so you want to learn something, keep commenting in the comment section. I'll anyhow look into those and I'll, wherever more explanation is required, I'll do it. And if you need any specific topic also, I'll do that separately. So please, that is why I am asking you to share and subscribe. Okay, so now your question is like this: for a cube, there is a cube. for a cube, cube means all sides are equal, cube of alpha x, alpha y, alpha z, find beta, find coefficient of, okay, areal expansion. Okay, try it, pause the video clip and then try it, then I will explain the solution, then you watch the solution. So now this is your cube. Okay, so now you are asked beta. Okay, so in each direction, if you are taking, this is x direction, this is your y, this is your z direction. Okay, so totally you have 3 directions for this cube. Okay, now this side the length is L, this side the length is L, this side the length is L. Okay, now your final area is initial area times 1 plus beta into delta theta is what I am supposed to write, and your beta is in the order of 10 power minus 6. So that means compared to 1 this is small. If I have beta square or some alpha and beta, everything alpha x, alpha y, alpha z all are in the order of 10 power minus 6. So out of these two terms if I multiply, it will become 10 power minus 12. I can neglect that term. Okay, so now with this I will start my explanation. Okay, observe carefully. Let us say you have heated it and some temperature difference of delta theta is achieved. Okay, so what is that you are doing? You have brought some delta theta temperature difference. Okay, after getting this delta theta temperature difference, what happens here is, okay, you are going to get, okay, you are going to get your values of alpha x, alpha y and alpha z. Okay, so now first, okay, your initial area how much it is means cube all sides are equal, this space it is L square like this, there are totally 6 spaces. So your initial area is how much? 6L square. Okay, cube side length is L, surface area each side is a square for a cube, all sides are equal, so it is basically 6L square. Okay, now observe carefully, after expansion, okay, if it expands, okay, the new figure that I have is, because these 3 are not equal, okay, because these 3 are not equal, my new cube will have different dimensions. My cube is actually going to become a cuboid like this. Okay, right? So this is x, this is y, this is z. I will write this as L final, B final, H final. Okay, after all it is LBH. Okay, so for each side, okay, final length L final is L initial, that is L plus 1 plus alpha x into temperature difference is delta theta. B final is L times 1 plus alpha z into delta theta. H final is L times 1 plus alpha y into delta theta. What is that I am doing? I am just simply taking the final lengths, final breadth and final height. Now if you calculate area now, okay, your final area how much it is means, okay, by how much this expands, top face also will expand by same amount. Okay, because these two top sides will have same dimensions, two front and back side will have same dimension, and left and right face also will have same dimension. So it is 2 times of, because this area and this area will be equal, this top area and this bottom area will be equal like this. So that will give you how much means 2 times L final. Okay, I need space, so I will write this step to the side. So I want you to get convinced with the fact that your final length is 2 times LF BF plus BF HF plus LF HF. Okay, your surface area is, okay, on the top and bottom it is same, front and back it is same, left and right it is same. So that will give you, okay, if you extend this, okay, So that will give you final area is 2 times of, okay. Now let us cross multiply, so that will give you L square times 1 plus alpha x plus alpha z into delta theta for LFBF plus alpha x alpha z delta theta whole square, okay. So I cannot keep a big bracket here. I have multiplied the first LF and BF for clarity, color change, plus L square times 1 plus alpha B final H final, if I multiply alpha z plus alpha y. This term in every expression I will neglect because of lack of space, because it is in the order of 10 power minus 6, this is in the order of 10 power minus 12. So compared to 1, this is itself small, this is further small, so we can neglect it, okay, right. Plus times delta theta plus L square times 1 plus what is it? It is alpha x plus alpha y times delta theta. So finally what is it you are going to get is, your final area is 2L square times 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3 plus, okay, alpha x plus alpha z, all this will become 2 times alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z into delta theta. This is what you are going to get, okay. Now I need space, I will erase the top figure, okay. Those who want to copy it down, pause the video and then copy it down, okay. So I am erasing it, okay. So I will start erasing it. Now if I erase this stuff, okay, if I erase this stuff, what will happen here is, okay, so I am going to get your final area as, okay, I will take 2L square times, this will become 3 plus, hope I am correct, alpha x plus alpha x, 2 alpha x, yes, 2 times of alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z, okay. If it is a square, make alpha z equal to 0, you will get the results, don't worry. So now this can be written as 6L square, I will take 3 common, that will become 1 plus 2 by 3 times alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z into delta theta is your final area. But what is your final area means, from here your final area is 6L square times 1 plus beta into delta theta, okay. So that will give you 6L square will cancel off, 1 will go off. So finally what is your beta means, it is 2 by 3 times alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z for a general figure. Now a note I will write very clearly, what is it is, if isotropic, what happens, this alpha x, alpha y and alpha z all are equal, okay. I told you for isotropic solid expansion is same in all the directions. So if that is the case, this alpha x, alpha y, alpha z, if I am equating it to alpha, okay, so isotropic, okay, alpha x, alpha y, alpha z both are equal to, all are equal to alpha, then your beta is 2 by 3 times, okay, 3 alpha, so that will give you 2 alpha, okay, right. So you are going to get for isotropic solid it is 2 alpha, okay. So your beta relation between, what is the relation between beta and alpha means, it is 2 alpha, your beta is equal to 2 alpha for isotropic solids. If nothing is mentioned, please do consider isotropic solid, okay, right. Next, for the same cube, try to express gamma, give gamma in terms of alpha x, alpha y and alpha z, try it. Try it. For cube do the same. Okay, for cube do the same, neglect higher expansion terms and then get your gamma value. For cube get the gamma value. Okay, for cube get the value of gamma. Okay, you try it. So once again, your L final is 1 plus alpha x into, okay, delta theta. Your breadth final is 1 plus alpha y into delta theta. Height final is 1 plus alpha z into delta theta. For cube volume is, for this it is L cube times 1 plus gamma into delta theta is V final. V final is V initial times 1 plus gamma into delta theta. So L cube times 1 plus gamma, and then you have to actually take LBH, but that becomes lengthy, and you will get, if I am correct, you are going to get gamma is equal to alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z after simplification. So for isotropic solid, gamma is equal to 3 alpha. Okay, so like this, for different solids you can relate this alpha, beta, gamma, taking that shape and following the basic logic like this. For a cube it is like this. Okay, so now you have got relation between alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, now with this idea, okay, I will extend this further. So unless otherwise mentioned, I told you consider isotropic solid. So you have considered isotropic solid, you assume. Then what is the final relation is, your alpha is to beta is to gamma will be what? 1 is to 2 is to 3. Your beta is 2 alpha, your gamma is 3 alpha. Okay, and if you divide these two, beta by gamma is equal to 2 by 3. Your beta is 2 by 3 gamma, gamma is 3 by 2 beta. Okay, depending upon whatever is asked, you simplify accordingly and then simplify. Okay, so beta is 2 alpha, gamma is 3 alpha. Okay, so these relations you can anyhow use it in the problems. Okay, right? So with this, okay, hope you have got some basic idea of linear expansion. Okay, now let us start with simple questions. Okay, so hope you have copied these things down. Now your first question is, okay, your ring is of 2 meters radius. No, first why directly jump to rod? No, that is example 2 you keep, this is example 1. There is a rod like this whose length is 5 meters. You have brought a temperature difference of, no, you need a change in length of 0.005 meters. Okay, initially it is at 30 degrees centigrade. Find theta final for this to happen. That is your first question. Okay, try it, do the calculation. Okay, we will start with simple questions, then we will keep going into details. So what is your relation is delta L is equal to initial length into alpha into delta theta. Oh, I did not give alpha. No. Alpha value is 3 into 10 power minus 6. So according to that, 0.005 is equal to L times initial length 5 alpha 3 into 10 power minus 6 times what is your temperature difference means theta final minus 30. From this solve for theta to get the answer. Okay, next. Okay, your next example is there is a wooden wheel like this. Okay, so what is that you are doing is to fit into this wooden wheel. Okay, if you take the olden days bullock carts, what they do is they will fix a metal wheel on the, they will fix a metal ring on the wooden. Okay, now let us say, okay, thickness of that wooden one is, dimensionally if you are taking, okay, this thickness is small, but for understanding sake I am giving, let us say this thickness is, let us say radius is 2 meters, this thickness is, I have given diameter, why should I give radius? This is 2 meters, diameter is given as 2 meters. That small thickness for it to fit in is some 0.003 centimeter. Okay, right? So by what temperature that should be heated so that you will bring that diameter difference of 0.03. Okay, no, only radial difference. Okay, diametrically it is another 0.003 means it is 0.006. Okay, what is the temperature difference that you are supposed to bring here? And here you take alpha is equal to 5 into 10 power minus 6 per degree centigrade. Okay, so this is your example 2. Okay, so now here many people will think in a different manner, don't think that. Okay, so first of all 2 pi RF is final length, initial length is 2 pi R initial. Okay, that is indirectly pi times final diameter, pi times initial diameter. Okay, if you are given in terms of radius, do it. If you are given in terms of diameter, you do it accordingly. Now stick to the basics. If you are taking in terms of length, L final is L initial plus 1 plus alpha delta theta. If you express this in terms of radius, 2 pi RF is equal to 2 pi R initial times 1 plus alpha into delta theta. So that means your R final is R initial times 1 plus alpha into delta theta. This you can do. Or else in this expression itself, if you are keeping final, pi diameter final is equal to pi diameter initial times 1 plus alpha into delta theta, then you are going to get D final is equal to D initial times 1 plus alpha into delta theta. Choice is yours, you substitute the values accordingly and then simplify. Either you take the length radius 2 pi r, it's not going to change. If you are taking only in terms of radius, it's not going to change. If you are going to take only in terms of diameter, still it's not going to change. Your answer is same. So now your final diameter is, okay, final radius if you want, okay, delta r if you take, you don't need to do this. You can directly from here delta r is R initial into alpha into delta theta. From here delta D, change in diameter is initial diameter times alpha into delta theta. Okay, so change in radius, it is 0.03 here. 0.003 is equal to initial radius. Initial radius it is how much means 1 because it is 2. Okay, I have considered only this. If you are expressing diameter, 2 times of this, because for the diameter this side length will increase, this side also length will increase. So times alpha value you substitute, 5 into 10 power minus 6 times temperature difference is delta theta. Okay. So this is centimeters, convert it into your SI units into 10 power minus 2. Okay, because this is given in terms of centimeter, into 10 power minus 2 is also must, accordingly you calculate. Okay. So like this you can actually do basic questions. Okay. Next, I am erasing this stuff as well. I am moving ahead. Next heading is condition for equal expansion or condition for difference in lengths to remain constant. Both will be same. Why I will tell you. Okay. So for example, first let me take a rod of length L1. Coefficient of linear expansion is alpha 1. One more rod is there. Its length is L2. Coefficient of linear expansion is alpha 2. Okay. Now first, if I am talking for condition of equal expansion, okay, what happens is, now in this case if there is equal expansion, okay, under same temperature difference, of course you have to bring same temperature difference. If you bring a different temperature difference, obviously things will be different. So under same temperature, okay, here I will write same temperature difference is the condition. Okay, often in physics they will forget these initial conditions. Okay, in the IIT JEE exam directly you will start with different this itself, then obviously you will be doomed. If you directly apply the end result that I am going to derive, if you substitute, obviously you will get wrong answer. So here how will you solve? Okay, what is the condition for equal expansion? Observe carefully. Your delta L is, okay, delta L1, change in length of first one is L1 alpha 1 delta theta. Delta L2, change in length of second one, it is L2 alpha 2 delta theta. Now if these two are equal, what happens? L1 alpha 1 delta theta is equal to L2 alpha 2 delta theta. So delta theta will go off. You are going to get L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2. Okay, right? This is your condition for equal expansion. Next, your next condition is condition for difference in lengths to remain constant. Now for this, what is the condition? I will tell you. Observe carefully. So your final length, your L2 minus L1 should be equal to L2 dash minus L1 dash. Okay, so no, yeah, difference in length is supposed to be constant. So initially it is L2 minus L1, finally it is L2 dash minus L1 dash. Now rearrange the terms. Okay, L1 dash minus L1, you send L1 to other side, and that will give you L2 dash minus L2. That will give you delta L1, this will give you delta L2. Once again, your L1 alpha 1 delta theta is equal to L2 alpha 2 delta theta. Delta theta will go off. L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2. Okay, some beautiful questions can be asked based on scales using this idea. Okay, so you will feel those questions to be tough if you actually don't follow the basic logic. Okay, so hope you have understood the initial conditions properly and the equations and questions that I have given. Okay, So with this we'll stop for today. Okay, that's all. Thank you.